Hello, welcome back. Let's put this out in the ether, in the atmosphere. The differences between men and women when it comes to how would I per se the differences when it comes to the category of taking orders, right? Taking orders from authorities within the system, how they approach the system, right? Women are more inclined, right, to work within the system. Men are least inclined to work without the system, right? Going a little bit further, what I mean when they are more inclined to work within the system, right? For example, women, right? The more they have more when it comes to women in school, right? Look at school, right? What is school is all about, right? Elementary to high school, whatever, colleges, right? A lot of women excel in this institution because what is this institution usually demonstrate? These institutions mainly try to demonstrate the ability for people of taking orders, right? In order to get grade A's from a teacher, right? From a person, not from a machine, from a person in order to get straight A's and in order to ace these tests that they give out, what are the criteria in order to do that? The criteria to do that is the ability to take orders and listen. Women are great listeners, right? That's why women are great listeners and they're good at taking orders, right? That's why there's a lot of women valedictorian out there. There's a lot of women, right? Psychiatrists. Why do you think women never forget what you tell them, right? What you tell to they absorb it like sponge, right? They absorb information. That's why, guys, yeah, you be careful when you talk to girls because when you say one thing, they will never forget it, right? They absorb everything you say. They're not gonna forget. They don't forget. All right, forget your every move, your every dialogue, whatever you're saying. They don't forget. They absorb it. Right. The thing with men is the difference between men is that men they work outside the system. Men are more inclined to think for themselves, right? When you work for the system, you're more inclined to think within the system. When you work outside the system, you're more inclined to think outside the system. They think outside the box. That's what it is. That's why there are more men innovators, more men who think of ways to break codes, right? There are men who have formulas, right? There are men explorers. Women like to work within the system. That's what I'm saying, right? That's the difference between men and women, the way the thought process is. Because they like to work within the system, the more how do I say this? Um, they more of get along with the system, depending on the system, right? Men are more rebellious, right? When you think outside the box, that means you're more rebellious, right? That's why men out there are more of a threat to the system than it is for women is a threat. Women need the system to function, right? The system is their leadership, right? Men, we're our own leadership, right? That's why, because we're our own leadership, that's why we're more rebellious to other men. We're more easily survive on our own. We are less dependent on the system. We're more of an explorer, right? We're more of taking chances or taking risks. Women, because they work within the system, they're least inclined to take risks. They're least inclined to take chances, right? And when they do, it's not a good idea. For example, a woman who take chances, Amelia Earhart, right? She took chances. I mean, I give her credit. She's the first woman to fly across the Atlantic, first woman pilot to do this and that. But when she do this, try to fly around the world, what does it happen? At least she got lost. No, she couldn't. Her body couldn't wasn't recovered. Right? She was missing. Right? Look at men explorers, Columbus, Galileo, all these men explorer. What is that? I forgot what his name. Lewis and Clark, right? They explore, right? They're more likely to take risks like that. There are men explorer out there. I mean, I'm not saying there's not women explorer, but how often there are women explorer out there, right? Women are, because the way they are, they're more confined to that space, right? That system, that box that they're in. they are at least likely to think outside the box. I'm not saying they can't solve puzzles, right? Right? But men, look, women solve the puzzle. Men, they created the puzzle. That's the difference. That's the most simplest way for me to explain it. That's why a lot of women could do math real fast. They're good at math. They're good at all these stuff. They're good at scholastic. They're good at academics, right? But the thing is, they cannot formulate anything outside of that atmosphere, right? Men are good at math, but again, men formulate the math. Men created the math. Men created the formulas, right? When men created the ideas, the women work within the ideas. That's the thing, right? Men create and women solve. Let's say that, right? Men create, women solve, right? That's why there's a lot of women out there that's excelling in scholastic. They're great taking orders from teachers. That's why there are men out there who don't graduate, right? Who don't graduate, who are rebellious, but again, they demonstrate their intellectual ability outside the system, right? There are smart men out there who were never a great student, who were never a straight A student because of their rebellious attitude, but they demonstrate their intelligence, right? They demonstrate their genius, like by creating a system, right? Look at Bill Gates, right? He out of Harvard and he created his company. Look at Steve Jobs. He got out of colleges. He rebelled against the system, right? And created his own thing. Mark Zuckerberg, he got out of colleges, right? And created his own system, right? When was the last time a woman does that kind of thing? A woman more likely dependent on the system. They work within the system. Instead of for them to get out of college and create their own businesses, they excel in that colleges, in that field, and get a degree and then work within those parameters, right? That's the difference between men and females. One of the differences. There's many differences between men and females out there. But when it comes to scholastic approach, when it comes to intelligence, right? Women are more inclined to work within the system than men are, right? This is why the government are so they hate. I don't want to say they hate. They against men because of their rebellious attitude, they're the single most threat to the government, right? Women live within the government. They live within the system. They need the government to survive. They need the government to be on their side, right? Without men protecting women, right? The government protect the women. That's why we're going all these things that they're going through right now. The system, right? That's why women are more inclined to rely on the government more than the men do, right? Men don't rely on the government, right? Why women are more likely to follow orders. They're good at following orders. That's why they excel in math. That's why they excel in English. That's why they excel in school. That's why the majority of women out there are least combative in a classroom. When you look at a classroom, right? When you look at the classroom atmosphere, who is usually the class clown? It's the boys. The boys usually the class clown at school. Women are usually the one who's a teacher's pet, who obey the teachers, right? Who follow the teacher's every order. Thereby, when you're great at following orders, you're more inclined to pass a class. You're more inclined to get a grade. The teacher is more inclined to favor you over anybody else's. That's why there are a lot of women out there who excel in this atmosphere, who excel in getting straight A's, who excel in getting all A's, right? Get a straight A's on the report card, give it to their dad and the mom, right? And while the boy at the family, they excel of sports, because you know what sport is. Sports is a different way of solving problems. You solve your problem by understanding your opponent and think outside the box, outside of your opponent. Cognitive capabilities for you to win in sports, right? Why do you think men are more in sports and women are more inclined in academia? Right? Because sports require you to think outside the box. It requires you to have strategies. Men are more of a strategist than it is for women to be a strategist. Why are the top 10 coaches out there? Coaches basically is a person that have a lot of strategies, right? Why are there more coaches out there than there are women coaches, right? I'm not saying there's no women coaches, right? But there are more men coaches out there than there's for female coaches, right? So this is the difference between men and female. Women work in the parameter of the system. They follow orders step by step. Men work in a strategy. Strategy does not have any set rules. Strategy is basically your way of thinking how to overcome your opponents, right? How to overcome the system. That's what a strategy is. A strategist, right? Those are the main differences between men and female when it comes to these institutions, right? What men have a more dropout rate than women because like I said many times before, right? Because men are rebellious attitudes. Most of the rebellion that was initiated was started by men against the system. If it wasn't for men, there would not be a revolutions. If it was not for men, there would never be a division from the government. If it's not for men, we will not come to the free world. If it's not for men, right, defying the government, the Protestant Reformation never happens. If it's not for men, all these stuff never happen, right? All these revolutionary things, if it's not for men, right? But if it's up to the women are more inclined to depend on the government, right? They're more inclined to seek out the police. They're more inclined to seek out all these authoritative figure. Because women, when you look at it, they can't protect themselves. Men are more inclined to protect themselves, right? They're least likely to depend on the government because men they don't need the police to protect them because men can protect themselves by our Second Amendment, right? That's the difference between male and female. Male, we don't need the government. We could survive our own. We could survive our own. If the Mad Max happened right now, we don't need the government. We could survive our own by creating a strategy to live within a community. Women, right? They need the system more than men needed the system. That's the difference, right? That's why they're more inclined to follow orders. If the world is run by women, we'll be nothing but order followers. Or we follow order. There will never be a revolutions because because their genetic code is to take orders. That's why they excel in math. That's why they get all straight A's, right? Not geniuses. You don't have to be a genius to get all straight A's, right? There are a lot of smart guys out there who don't get straight A's, right? Because they don't like to take orders. That's how you get straight A's in school. That's my understanding, right? By my experiences in school, the person who get the straight A's the most are the person who's able to follow orders the most, right? Like doctors, lawyers, and all that stuff. They're able to follow orders. That's why they get those grades, right? And who's determined for us for our future? Who's determined our destiny? A teacher are man. A teacher are person, are human. Human are flawed creatures. So by us being graded by another human, I don't think that's the right way to do it. Because human could be corrupt, could be biased. How many times out there where a teacher favor another student not based on their ability to understand them, but based on their favoritism? How many of that example actually exists? How many of that example of teachers getting paid out for an athlete to pass a class? Right? Many times. Right? How many times a teacher are bribed to pass a student? Many times. How many teachers are bribed, right, to give straight A's to another student? I'm sure there's many times because there's our connection. Teachers are human beings. Human beings are prone to be corrupted. Because of human beings are prone to be corrupted, that's why I don't believe just because you get straight A's doesn't mean you're a genius. Who to say that your straight A's are legitimate? Right? That's why all this idea of a straight A student, right? According to who? Right? Why do we give so much authority to a teacher? Right? Why is a person's intelligence is determined by a teacher? Right? Who to say the teacher don't make mistakes? Teacher make mistakes, doctor make mistakes, lawyer make mistakes. We're human beings. Human beings make mistakes. The thing is, what defines a genius to me is a person who knows strategize well, who's a good strategist, right? Who think outside the box, who are very clever, right? Clever and smart, genius and smart is totally different things. I think smart is basically your ability to make the right decision by taking orders. Clever is your ability to think outside the box, right? Those are the differences, right? I think men have this cleverness that women lacks. Women have the smartness of taking orders. That's what it is. The smartness of, I don't want to say rational, but the smartness of, all right, I'm a woman. I think I better take orders because there's stuff that I don't know, man. But I disregard that. I digress on that, right? I think women are smarter, but men are more clever. That's what I'm trying to say. You get my instance, right? Smart is like they look out for their own best interest, while cleverness is thinking outside the box, right? But I digress on that part, right? I guess I didn't make the point clear enough. But let me know. But let me know if you agree, right? You think that's the difference between male and female, right? Male women are more inclined to take orders from teachers. Male are more rebellious. They're more revolutionary. Let me know you agree. Am I making sense? Am I conveying my message clearly? All right. But on that note, guys, thanks for watching. I know this video is going a little too long, but on that note, guys, like, share, subscribe, and peace and blessings.